Hey folks, so we're here to talk about WWE's 3-hour Raw special, the 3 for All. This certainly, you could say that this was an interesting mixture of the sublime and the ridiculous. Forgive me, I've got about 6 pages of notes, so forgive me for reading a little bit, but there was quite a lot that happened and I quite wanted to get it down in detail, so hopefully you don't mind. Also, I tried to adjust my volume settings because it's been said that my volume on my camera was too loud and it was hurting people's ears, so I hope that there is no discomfort as a result of watching today's show. So we open on Raw, straight to King and Cole, and they say that, as reported exclusively on WWE.com, apparently, Vince McMahon was going to be there that night. And there's obviously going to be some kind of twist because Cole says, "Oh, to announce the new GM," and then King says, "Oh, but the rumour is that it's going to be something else." So I didn't really know what to expect at that point, so I suppose that was at least quite suspenseful. That was good. And then to kick off the evening, we had an Intercontinental Championship match, Chris Jericho defending against Rey Mysterio. Jericho comes out to start with and cuts a promo that says that since he got drafted to SmackDown, Raw has gone into the toilet and has suffered a tumultuous tailspin. He also refers to the fans quite satisfyingly as bulbous manatees. He is verbose. JR said he was verbose, and he is verbose. He claims that unmasking Rey Mysterio will set Mysterio free. But when Mysterio appeared, I don't know, I must be wrong, but I thought that the general idea was if you get unmasked, that's it, you lose the mask, and you don't wear it anymore, but apparently Rey's just stuck the mask back on. So we had, wrestling-wise, the high point of the evening to start with. Really good match. These two have really good chemistry with each other and have displayed that several times recently. Excellent in-ring quality. Mysterio starts out really aggressively, really fast, obviously angry about being unmasked. They're really selling this mask thing quite well. They're doing that quite well at the moment. I like it. There was one point in the match that really annoyed me, but it wasn't Mysterio or Jericho's fault. It's something that referees have started doing, and it really pisses me off. JR referred to it as just good officiating, but no, it is bad officiating. There was one point where, I can't remember who it was, I can't remember who was getting covered, but somebody was getting covered, and I think Jericho was being covered, I think, and his hand was like kind of beside, maybe under, but kind of beside the ropes, and the referee stopped the count. He counted one and said, "Oh no, his hand's like in the ropes." But no, this is wrong. You have to grab the ropes or put your foot on the ropes. You have to physically touch a rope. This has really started pissing me off. Especially there are bits where it's just like clearly the climax of a match. It didn't happen here, but some matches where it's clearly the finish, the big moment at the end of the match, and the referee makes whoever's wrestling move their opponent so that they're not in the ropes. You're not a real referee. This is not a real fighting competition. Just go with the fucking program. Like, what's wrong with these people? Who do they think they are? It really pisses me off. And I was really annoyed that JR acknowledged it as good officiating, because it's really bad officiating. Anyway, that was the only low point of this match. This match was really good. A nice point when on the outside, Jericho countered the seated senton into a sort of face-first drop on Mysterio onto the announce table. Mysterio hit a very nice sort of sunset flip, sort of powerbomb type thing out of the corner, which was good. There's a really good spot that I really liked where it seemed like Jericho was going to attempt the 619, which of course nobody does. But Mysterio countered it into a springboard moonsault. That was a nice spot. I enjoyed that. At the end of the match, Mysterio hits the 619 and then actually goes for the West Coast pop for once, which never happens anymore. Jericho catches him when he goes for the West Coast pop and tries to remove his mask again, and Mysterio is so anxious to not lose his mask that he scrambles out and sort of is off guard for a second and gets hit by the code breaker, which I thought was really clever. That was the 3 count. Jericho wins clean, and I thought it was really clever because it shows, it really highlights how important this mask issue is supposed to be, how Mysterio finds it much more important than regaining the Intercontinental title. I thought that was clever, and I thought that was the right thing to do. So this match was absolutely excellent. This has been one of my favourite matches on a TV taping so far this year. Not my favourite, but certainly up there. I really like this feud. These guys are great, but these guys should be at the top of the card because they are fantastic in the ring. Moving on, it does go downhill from here, by the way. It really does. Next we have a Randy Orton segment backstage with Josh Matthews where he says that he keeps taking people out and he's going to continue to do it, and he's focusing on Triple H, who obviously returned last week in the horrible, hideous mess that was Raw. And John Cena appears and tells Matthews to fuck off and impersonates a broadcaster like Josh Matthews or Todd Grisham. And actually, I thought this was quite good. At promo, I'm starting to like Cena better. I don't love his promo, but he's confident and he doesn't seem wooden or stilted, which is nice. I quite like this. He says something along the lines of, every week we're talking about Randy Orton, but it's not because he's regained the title. He keeps talking about and something about him being gutless and spineless, and something about baby oil. I didn't really catch that, but it was quite funny. And Orton looks furious, and Cena says, you keep talking about Triple H, but you've got to be mindful that there are two other men in the Fatal 4-Way title match tonight. One of whom is an angry giant, who they keep going on as if he's invincible. The Big Show, but he never wins anything. Like, ridiculous. I don't understand the way that they're pushing that at all. But anyway, that was that over. And then we have an interview between those at the announce table and Vince McMahon on the Titantron. This was a good highlight of the example of why one of my main concerns about Raw tonight was the crowd. The crowd at this show were fucking horrendous. One of the worst crowds I have ever seen at a wrestling taping. Almost no pops for anyone. It was horrible. It was ridiculous. McMahon actually said, "Oh, I was expecting a few more cheers." And while he's not necessarily the person that I would expect the most cheers for, it was a good sort of way of bringing to people's attention that crowd were hideous. Wrestling crowds like that should be fucking shot. It just kills the whole show. It makes it so hard for the wrestlers to work their stuff. If you ever go to a wrestling taping, my audience, please pop people, boo people, react, do things, like be a decent audience. Like these guys are really, some of them are shit, but they're trying hard for you, and some of them are giving you really, really good performances. You should really, really give something back as a crowd. I strongly believe that. But anyway, Vince starts sort of talking somewhat mysteriously about he's not going to announce the new general manager. He's going to allow someone else to do it, and when opportunity knocks, you must seize the moment. And he reveals that he's selling Monday Night Raw, which I find very, very odd. He says it's very hard for him to do, but the opportunity financially was too good. And I was kind of thinking, what the fuck is this? I was like, who could it be? This is bizarre. It should have occurred to me straight away, of course. And he says he's going to announce the buyer after the title match, the Fatal 4-Way match. And he says that it's supposedly going to be someone who you would have thought that there would be no chance in hell that they would ever be the buyer of Raw. So, some suspense, some mystery. I like this. This doesn't happen often enough in wrestling anymore. They don't keep you guessing enough, I don't think. I'm very, very quickly going to talk about the next match, which was the ECW title match between Tommy Dreamer and Christian. At the beginning of which Matt Stryker suggested that Barack Obama was going to be the buyer of Raw, which I found amusing. The crowd really fucking sucked again. No pops for anyone. Like, Dreamer usually gets some kind of sentimental pop, but nothing. This match was really quite dull. They were trying to wrestle at a Christian pace, and Dreamer can't wrestle at a Christian pace. This was one of the worst matches I've ever seen Christian in. It was really pretty bad. Dreamer hit a reverse DDT at one point that was alright, but it was pretty lame. And Dreamer wins clean with a small package, just a small package, not even the DDT. Fucking ridiculous. Like, this was poor, really, really fucking poor, and Tommy Dreamer needs to be taken out of the ECW title picture because there's so much in ECW that is good. ECW was really poorly represented at this taping, I thought. It's kind of offensive at how much it seemed shit compared with the other two shows. Anyway, if you could switch over to part 2 because I've run out of time, that would be awesome.